All right, let's see. Test. Test. Okay, successfully connected. Okay. Let's see. Testing, testing. One and two. I'm going to take a gander real quick at this. Testing, testing, testing. One and two. Testing one and two. Hmm. All right, testing one and two. All right, testing one and two. All right, I think that's good. Hmm. Why, hello there, everybody. What's up? It's your friendly neighborhood Ghost Exodus. And I don't normally do this on this platform, but I'm going to give it a shot. As you can see, I've been experimenting, what have you, with different platforms. We usually stream on Twitter, we'd stream on Telegram. I've been contemplating doing live recordings using Zoom, and now here I am. I don't expect many of my hacker friends or people in the nether regions of the cybersecurity world to be downloading Zoom for the likes of me. But I figured that YouTube would be a good medium since we all use it. I'm going to check out the chats here. All right, there we go. All right, so there's a couple things I want to just throw out before I get started talking about OSINTing. It's open source intelligence. For those of you who have never heard this glorious acronym, um, and just before I get into that, I want to explain, OSINTing is using, publicly available or open sourced, tools and resources to hunt down, track down public records, little bits of information, because as you know, everywhere a person goes on the internet, they either subscribe to something, they leave a digital fingerprint behind, whether they like something on social media or, like I said, subscribe to things using their phone numbers, emails, information, things like that. And then what ends up happening is, data brokers scoop that stuff up and they sell it to third parties. And it usually gets databased in some type of data set. And then data aggregators, they collect this stuff, they scrape it, and then they put it into a searchable format for the public to use, which is nice. Um, but anyway, so as many of you know, I've had this ghostexodus.org domain for a couple of years now. Might even be a few years by now. And I haven't really done anything with it because I don't know. I didn't know what the direction was going to be. So I've decided to create a non-mainstream news platform. And I know that sounds ridiculous because, oh, great, another news platform. No, not another news platform. Um, what this is going to be, it's by hackers for hackers and for knowledge seekers. So it's bearing all the trademarks of the hacker subculture. It is, after all, I am a former black hat, turned ethical and all that other stuff. So I don't like corporations. I don't like corporate logos. I don't like laden wordage. I don't like that whole world. I feel like it's encroached upon everything, trying to get its piece of the pie. And that, I mean, that's fair. Don't get me wrong. Um, Nobody's cornering anything related to the hacker world. Um, but the problem is, it's I find news platforms usually pretty uninteresting. The only news platform I actually like is Cyber News, and it's not just because I write for them. Um, I find their articles very interesting and edgy. So there's that. But no, this I want articles written by hackers, written by people who aren't published authors. I want to publish your writings, and not only that, uh, I'm offering this. It's a free. Um, it's a writing entrepreneurship program, right? So if you are an aspiring writer, if you want to be a writer, you want to try your hand at writing, check this out. I can work with you one on one. I can get these articles published, and then what you can do, if you've been with us for a while, you can use you can use us as a professional reference if you feel that writing is a career you want to do. And let me tell you something, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Um, that would be one heck of a great opportunity to grow, to evolve into you know um, I don't know, a whole new field with whole new possibilities. Remote work is great, so I want everyone to be able to seize these opportunities and come right for us. Come right for us. I'm not paying people for articles. I am giving you an opportunity to build a portfolio. And by doing that, you'll actually have um, a way to reference your published work for future potential employers. This is the first thing they're going to ask is, let me see your portfolio. Where have you been published? Show us some of your work. Lo and behold, you have it. It's published over here. We're also looking for tutorials, cool hacking tutorials, OSINT tutorials, digital forensics tutorials, pretty much anything you can think of that fits within that, in that whole hacker ecosystem. That's what I want. I want this for us. I want this so that we have a cool place we can all go to, something that's centralized, organized, centralized. Already, ghostexodus.org, we are migrating to a new domain name, um, to put all this, put this all this together. It's going to be 404 Intel. That's 404intel.com. That's where I want you guys to go. We've got SDR streams, we've got CCTV streams, we've got some cool tutorials coming up. It's gonna be fun. All right, so let's jump right in to OSINTing, right? So one of the things that I wanted to discuss really briefly is OSINTing. For example, today there was an actor. I'm not going to call him a good or bad actor, that was on social media. And um, for those of you who know Toxicity, it's my girlfriend, both OSINTers. This actor had posted photos of some instructions to commit terrorist acts on a whiteboard at what appeared to be at a public library. Okay, so based on the artifacts in the photographs, you could see bookshelves, you could see I don't know, carpeting. You could see a very small sliver of of uh, looking outside of a window, seeing a particular type of plant that's quite, you know, common in the Pacific. What is it? I don't know. What is it? The South? Yeah, the South. Yeah, the South. Trees in that area. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of different artifacts in just a very small little slivers in the photograph. And one of the things I wanted to bring up too is using AI for, threat hunting. And not just this, but give me one second here. Just pulling something up. Yeah, so threat hunting and attribution. Um, Chat GBT is absolutely brilliant um, as a tool for threat hunting and attribution, figuring out who's behind certain cyber attacks, things of that nature. And let me tell you something. If, for example, if you have a voice recording, which is something we often come across in Telegram or on YouTube or on TikTok, we'll actually hear someone speaking even if we don't see them, like you hear now. And if you want to try to ascertain where their accent is from, try to, you can use ChatGPT to analyze dialects, accents, linguistic patterns, and even regional speech patterns. Um, all you have to do is to provide a transcript or an audio recording of this person speaking. Um, Obviously, we can easily pull that from Telegram, um, from voice notes that people leave in Telegram. For example, right here on YouTube, you could save a sample of my voice and run it through ChatGPT, and it would, provide, you know, insights, really good insights into my accent, basic linguistic patterns, and just kind of get a feel for where I am, where I'm from originally, regionally. So, for example, it would tell you that I'm from Texas. I mean, I was born in, I was raised in California, but I don't really have a California accent. I spent most of my life in Texas. So ChatGPT would probably note the region that I'm from, probably, the South. And that is, we've actually used this in attribution hunting, and it was spot on. It was actually very uncanny how good ChatGPT is able to kind of pinpoint even an approximate uh, region where a person is from. So that's actually very, very helpful because one of the things that a lot of us who are engaged in op child safety, sometimes you are hunting a threat actor and you need to try to figure out where this person is from, and you don't have anything. You literally have nothing. Um, but let's say you have a voice note. That voice note could be the one clue that connects the dots. This is why this is so important. And maximizing what you can use ChatGPT for as far as intelligence. We still don't know how far this rabbit hole goes. However, I'm going to say ChatGPT has been monumental in our attribute threat attribution work. Um, it provides analysis on chat exports. It can pick up on emotional patterns. Um, it can you know enumerate common denominators amongst top posters in different chat rooms, chat groups across platforms. And why that's important is because um, top posters will also come with their timestamps and what time zone that they're posting in. And based on an analysis of all of that information, as it's scanning through every single conversation in a chat log, it can approximate what time zone a threat actor is posting from. That's pretty cool too. Like as an OSINT tool, it's absolutely mind blowing. Um, Now, I've had a lot of hit and miss with ChatGPT. Some days just it's producing great results, and other days it doesn't even know what I'm talking about, so I just give up. But so one of the things you could ask um, um, ChatGPT is, let me see if I can find a little cue on that. Anyways, let me get back to that. So if you provide a transcript, even a transcript, which we were talking about, this is obviously not a voice recording, but a transcript. It can identify, dialect indicators such as, Southern U.S., African American vernacular English, British regionalisms. So that means that, you know, how in different regions of any country, people speak differently. And I had this thing just absolutely pinpoint my exact place of origin based on my accent, and not only that, my vernacular. It's actually inescapable how amazing it was. But here's the thing too: ChatGPT will tell me it can't listen to audio directly, and it said this to me more times than it's been able to analyze a voice recording or an audio file. It can, even though it might tell you that it can't. Um, so I would, if a ChatGPT puts up some type of wall and says I can't do this, all you have to do is keep pushing, um, and rephrase, what you want from it, um, and then you can kind of bypass whatever is preventing it from doing what it actually does. Um, Now, in contrast to this, I've actually used, Rabbit OS's intern. Now, I know everyone's heard about the Rabbit R1. It's this little orange box that everybody, nobody, people were saying it's stupid, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. I love that thing. I use it for all types of stuff. And my autistic kid, like, he loves it. I mean, I'm autistic. Maybe that's why I love it. But, we use it for like plant identification, asking questions all day long. Um, it's really brilliant. However, the Rabbit OS intern, I don't even know how to explain it, but it can analyze. Um, Maybe I should just Google it. But anyways, it can analyze entire chat logs in ways that ChatGPT cannot. You see, with ChatGPT, I have to kind of hold its hand and walk it through exactly what I want. I actually created a 23-point OSINT framework telling it exactly what I wanted it to do. And at the very end, you know, compile it all into a PDF. And it did it the first time around. And the sheer depth of the attribution report was so insane that I knew more about these people in this chat group than they probably knew about themselves. Just based on what analysis ChatGPT was able to give. I love psychological profiles. It also helps me understand, what their ideological motivations are. A lot of these, hacker groups and everything like that, even mine, like we all have an ideology. We all have something that drives us, but some are more loose cannons than others, and some use fear propaganda and actually disseminate, false information to keep and repeated images of violence in wartime media footage to keep people emotionally engaged and angry, so that they have these reactionary uh, results from the propaganda. Um, Even a lot of these, they don't really have much direction. They keep people angry and constantly engaged emotionally, and not so much intellectually. Uh, but anyways, let's see. What is Rabbit? Because I only use it for one thing. Rabbit OS intern. Yes. So Rabbit OS intern um, does like threat analysis of data, and you can just upload any data to it, and it will break it down so like going through a finite comb and produce the most gorgeous uh, threat intelligence reports that we've ever been able to produce using AI. But anyways, let's see. Today, Rabbit opened a free trial of an upgraded AI native operating system that coordinates multiple agents to get things done. Rabbit OS Intern. The system has its own general agency to reason, plan, coordinate, and execute code level tasks based on users' prompts to build a variety of projects. So, anyways, I ran my 23 point OSINT um, framework through that, and it was mind blowing. Now, I think you can use it for free. You only get so many credits a day, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you can use it for free and give it a shot, and then tell me what you think. It's pretty cool. All right, what are we doing? We're moving on to let's see. Another thing, like when talking to Chat GPT, yes, you will have to hold its hand. But if you already have a framework lined out exactly what you want it to analyze, what you want it to scan for. If you're asking it to create, heat maps of like users logging in, creating like relationship grids, um, or relationship maps showing, you know, who they know, who is attacking what their affiliates are. Yeah, you can ask all of these things to produce real time like results that are game changers. So when you're analyzing for suspicious voice notes, uh, and you want to know things like this, you would ask, like, is this speaker from the Gulf region of North Africa? um, because everyone in Africa doesn't speak the same language or have the same dialect. Does this person sound trained in formal English or street vernacular? These are questions you'd want to be asking ChatGPT. Um, and its ability to also understand context is absolutely uncanny. For like, it can understand like sentence structure, idiom usage, phonetic spelling and transcripts, all types of cool stuff. All right, so that's enough about ChatGPT for just 1 second. Excuse me. All right, I'm just getting myself sorted out here. Um, golly, scenting. Okay, so ah, I know I'm not like going on video right now. It's because I'm haggardly today. I've had a long ass day. I'm really exhausted. um, Also, I'm just chilling up in my bedroom, and it's got like it's like rich in like OSINT worthy artifacts all over the place. So yeah, we're not doing that. Right. Um, let's talk about some tools that we use very commonly, right? Whenever my team is trying to ascertain, you know, what a target does on their free time when they think no one is looking. We like to use tools that can uh, take usernames and connect them to email accounts, which can connect you to phone numbers, which can connect you to other accounts that a target is using that actually kind of cross over. So, for example, let's say, like, let's say this guy, right? We're hunting this guy. We were hunting this pedophile a while back. And with the username, we ran a search through, let's say, like OSINT.industries. OSINT Industries is brilliant. And I'll explain more about these tools in a minute. Or maybe we use, usersearch.ai. And all we had was a username. Uh, the person's, let's say, Instagram username, but it was unique. Um, so we ran the search and we're able to come up with like a Gmail account. that was subscribed, under unique identifier. With that, you're able to see what they are subscribed to. For example, let's say now with that Gmail account, we run a new search with that Gmail account, and then you discover that they're subscribed to Snapchat and Telegram. And so when you pull up their Telegram, see that they have like a display image of themselves in their Telegram profile. That's a whole new thing right there. It's a new uh, researchable element that any OSINT investigator can use. For example, what you would do from there is just download the image and then run it through any facial recognition search engine, um, such as PimEyes, TinEye, Yandex, or Google reverse images. So what you're doing is you're running a reverse image search. Some of these, like PimEyes, if I remember correctly, uses I think it's that facial geometry to find other matches, which have very interesting results. But anyways, and then let's say you get a match and you see that the same photograph is on a Facebook account, but under a different email account. And that username can also be searched. And not only that, you have the person's Facebook account. What more do you need? Right? Um, so you have, their profile, anything that they put on it, and any type of information. Um, I mean, shoot, they would have their name on there. And you could read comments from other people that are on their friends list, uh, to get a bigger map of who the target is that you're hunting. So every data point that you find when you're doing OSINT searches can basically be cross-referenced. For example, in if you have uncovered their Gmail account, maybe you want to run that through a breach report database search. And let's say you found 3 hits. And in the breach report, which would show that this particular email account had suffered a data breach maybe a year ago, and you've got a password of, you know, I hate cows 123. I don't know. It's got an IP address and an address. All that got leaked, right? This is in the breach report database search. So now, not only do you have the IP address, even though it's probably old, but it still is a digital fingerprint that you can reverse with a reverse IP search and find out the location of where that device was. Um, on top of that, you've got if the target is American, they're fucked. You know why? Because they don't have any real data protection in America. So you would open up Intellius, run that address and that name, and you've got hits all day long. But also, that password, I hate cows 123, is a is an investigative data point that you can cross reference. So you would run a search for that password. I hate cows 123, and then it shows up attached to another account that the target is using. Uh, Billy Bob 97 at AOL.com. Well, we didn't even know that he had an AOL account, and there you have it. Then it just keeps on going. It's a chain. You just follow the tr- you know the chain laterally, and until you get the a big picture, a full picture of your target. You're obviously going to want to archive what you've got. You're going to want to keep your notes organized, because if you don't, you're going to be all over the place. And if you have ADD like I do, then you're really screwed. Um, so anyway, just keep your notes clean too. That way you don't end up spending credits running OSINT, searches on things you already searched. So, anyways, yes, OSINT Industries is amazing, absolutely amazing, and I love how the information they provide uh, can be easily exported into a PDF file. It's nice and clean, very nice. Anyways, not to mention anything that you find, any data points whether you're throwing it all into a notepad or exporting into a PDF, you can upload all of these things to ChatGPT, analyze to put into a formatted kind of profile. Um, way it parses out any comments or you know commas, hashtags that are in the wrong places. Just makes it nice and clean. Because the cleaner your notes are, obviously, it's the easier it's going to be and keep pushing until you've completely de-anonymized. Oh, all right. A lot of this is just very rudimentary. Um, Many of the people who are part of my group, who do OSINT work with me, they are on different, degrees in their journey through OSINTing. So it's always a good lay a good foundation, get the right tools. And I'll say this much too. A lot of the OSINT tools that many of us started with, they are useful to a point. Um, I know one of the ones that I love the most and I wrote a tutorial about is Magrit. Sherlock, I believe, is another one. Any basically what all these tools do, their usernames, search tools, usually in the form of Linux. They're great. But what they do is they take the username that you provide, and in the program, there's a file with probably several hundred, if not more, uh, popular social media and other types of accounts across the world. And so what it will do is tack that username onto the URL of every single one of these social media accounts. So it does produce a lot of false positives. So obviously, if you're willing to put in the footwork, you're gonna have to get through there and kind of like parse through what is actually, authentic, what's a 404. Some You get a lot of different error codes, and sometimes you get a good hit. However, OSINT Industries strips out that. They have a very sizable database that they search from, um, and they use both private and public intelligence sources. So that's why I like it. I don't like having to parse through a lot of false positives when I'm searching for someone. This is why I've steered away from using Linux scripts for that type of stuff. Um, but if I mean, I don't know if you're short on cash, you can still use some online resources, but I mean, you get what you pay for. If you're very serious about OSINTing, you will be putting money aside, and not a lot. I don't have a lot of money, but what I do have goes into OSINTing, and it has paid off every damn time. So if this is something that you value, that you're passionate about, I'm telling you, $20 for 1 month is enough for at least one of these services to produce really kick-ass results. Let me think. I'm trying to think of something else. I know I'm missing something. Um, One of the things that we're also working on that in the lab, and I've tested this before, but it was like a year ago. And like I said, I keep saying I've got ADD, but I always forget half of the experiments that I run because there's so many of them. But let's say you have a target, and this target is very elusive. All you have is a phone number. Maybe not even that. You have an email address. Let's say you have an email. The person, you can't get a hold of them. So what do? You know they're on the run. You're trying to figure out exactly where they are. So what you can do is send them a canary token in their email. But what you so you can use online services to do this for you pretty seamlessly. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I'll tell you what the URL is. So it excuse me a second here. Before I actually tell you the URL, I needed to tell you that canary tokens are basically these little unique identifiers that are embedded into like different things like files. You can embed them into URLs, you can embed them into documents, and think of it like, all right, I know a lot of us has you have used like IP logging scripts. Think of it like that. So basically, a canary token is like a honeypot, and if you're using, IP logging scripts, I mean that's basically the same thing. It's just kind of stripped down and very basic. So I can embed a canary token within the EXIF metadata of an image. From there, what you could do is you embed that same image into an email. You don't uh, add it as you don't add it as you would a file. You just want to embed the image. That way, as soon as that email is opened, it automatically triggers the canary token, which then will send you the IP address and browser fingerprint, browser fingerprint of the person who opened the email. They don't have to download anything. They just have to open the email, and that's it. Um, Let me see. Canary tokens. Oh yeah, yeah. You can go to canarytokens.org. In fact, that's the one I used. Yeah, go to canarytokens.org, and you'll see what I mean. You can embed them into QR codes. You can embed them into, like I said, metadata, into different files. It's really brilliant. Great little honeypots. Great for tracking down someone. So yeah, like for example, we've had pedophiles who, during sting operations, which we don't do anymore, but they absolutely refuse to speak, except on like Snapchat, which is obviously encrypted. And one was like, I will only speak, via email. I'm like, that's great. So you send them a canary token, and bam, you've got their browser fingerprint, which you could use, to escalate to new attack options, which I don't do anymore, and their IP address, which is great because chances are they're not using a VPN, but not always. Don't assume that they're stupid. A lot of them are not. But anyways, yeah, Kinshuk is great. So if you're taking notes, please, by all means, write that down. Canarytokens.org, OSINT.industries, usesearch.ai. These are great. And the more people that, the more threat actors that we're able to catch, um, the better. You always want to try to also appear as the smartest person in the room. So definitely have your arsenal, and don't just use them when you need them. Use them before you need them. Um, Test out every tool, test them out, and get familiar with it. And if you have to, take notes on how your test went, exactly what you did, each step that you took in setting it up and getting it launched. That way, you can educate others and repeat it, especially if you need to set up a canary token like right now. Um, you always want to be ready at the drop of a hat, no matter what. All right, so probably won't get into too much more from at this point, but just wanted to hop on YouTube, and I haven't done this streaming stuff from here in a while. But I'll remember, if you see photos, photos contain what? What do they have? Yeah, they have what is it called? Artifacts. Photos have artifacts. If you see a reflection, look at if you see, I don't know, electrical outlets can tell you which country they're from, or pretty close to it. Look at street signs. Look at carpets. Look at plants. Look at the way that the sun is hanging in the sky. The way the shadow is cast. Every single thing that you see is significant. And if any of you are artists, if you draw, then you know exactly how important every single element in this portrait is. Every bit of it is important. Um, Photos and artifacts. That's actually how they tracked down that cat killer, Luca Magnotta. In that documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. It was people like you and me who followed Luca Magnotta's social media accounts across several different accounts as he was traveling to different countries and mutilating cats and doing it for, I don't know, for shits and giggles or whatnot. And then there's an OSINT group on Facebook who watched, his videos, who saw his photos, and based on the artifacts in those alone, they were able to know where he was going, where he was, and also predict where he was going next. It was really brilliant. Um, so if you see a photo, do not dismiss it. Everything from a mole to a freckle could be one thing that you need to identify or compare images against a suspect. This is something that we do every week. But anyways, so just bear that in mind. Everything. Don't dismiss stuff. Uh, yeah, don't do it. Uh, the most insignificant element could actually be a piece of the puzzle. So, anyways, if I don't even know who's listening, but let me see. For those of you who don't know me, I am Ghost Exodus. I'm the founder of the Electronic Tribulation Army. Um, I was actually the first hacker in U.S. history to be convicted for corrupting industrial control systems. I got out of prison after doing 7 years. It's a long story there. And I just do OSINTing and threat intelligence. Uh, I don't know. I sometimes get vibes from some of my members that they must think I work for the government. I don't. Um, I don't work for any. I don't have any contacts with parties. Doing attribution or threat intelligence. I do it for me. I find it fun. It's really fun. Um, but op child safety is something that I do. Um, and just tell you, don't just jump into that. Don't jump into that. A lot of hackers in the group Anonymous, which is they're doing their part. They're doing their civic duty to try to make the internet a safer place. But a lot of them were like me at one point. I didn't know best way to approach it, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. So many different ways to hunt bad guys, to hunt pedophiles. Let me tell you something. We've actually caught someone on the sex offender registry. We just picked a name out of the hat, right? And started doing some online digging. We looked at their what was it? Their supervised release terms, and found out that they had violated. Hey, that's one way to do it. We find people on like Roblox. We get their usernames, and then we hunt them down, and make those necessary reports to the NCMEC or to their local PD. You don't have to ever find yourself on the dark web or looking at websites and seeing traumatizing images. There are so many different ways to hunt without ever entering to that element. Um, so if anyone had questions about that, just shoot them my way. You know where to find me. I'm on here. I'm on Telegram. I'm on Twitter. Um, if you're interested in doing op child safety for real, you don't ever have to find yourself on the dark web. Um, I never have to ever search websites and do all that shit. Um, because there's so many different avenues for identifying predators, especially on social media. You don't have to go to websites to de-anonymize predators. They're on social media, they're talking, they're using code words, hashtags, special images and symbols. They're in games, you know what I mean? If you have kids like I do, you know, you educate your children. If they're at that right age and you know that they can understand what you're saying and the severity of it, let them know. Like this is what's inappropriate. This is prohibited. And if this happens, tell me. You know, I had that talk with my kids, and lo and behold, they come to us all the time. This person said this. This person's doing that on Roblox. And man, let me tell you something. I can hunt that motherfucker down, and that's the end of that. Um, so, if those who are listening, those who are watching this blank screen thing. I don't know what this is. You know, don't get into op child safety. Uh, if it takes you onto CP sites, just don't. There's so many other ways to help. Become a volunteer. That's legit. Become a volunteer. There's plenty. The NCMEC and several others are always looking for O centers. And if you want a list of those who are looking for O centers, looking for volunteers, come see me. I'll send you that list. You want to go volunteer? You can go do that and do it the right way. Anyways, deuces. Have a good night. Stay classy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but I don't think anybody actually knows what that is. Yeah. Stay mysterious.